My name is Tunde Fowler, the former Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the former Executive Chairman of the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. Now, how did it start? I was a banker. I was a general manager in one of the commercial banks, and I had a friend who was in government and an old classmate, actually a few old classmates. And I used to be in charge of public sector. And we used to just have personal discussions about revenue and all that. And I used to tell them that the state government is losing a lot of revenue. And this particular friend of mine, who happened to be a classmate, who is now the vice president of Nigeria, said, why don't you write something about revenue generation in Lagos? And I wrote 2 pages and I gave it to him. I said, you can give it to the governor, because I didn't really think or have any intention of working for government from the banking sector. And he said, the governor would like to see me. And we had a little meeting. And on the day I went to see the governor, I met another classmate, Dele Alake. Dele asked the governor, where did you find this gentleman? And the governor laughed and said, well, we want to discuss about IGR. And Dele said, he's a good man. And that's where it all started. Regardless of my religious background, he knew I was a Christian. He knew I came from the private sector, but he was still willing to change ideas with me and also offer me that job. And then one thing that he said, this assignment is very challenging. And he said, make sure that you pray to the God that you believe in. And I found that a bit strange, but that just showed me that he's someone who is spiritual. Now, from the day that I resumed office and before my approval, I was asked to come to the Exco chambers. And I got there about 6 p.m. And I was there until about 11:30 p.m. And someone came out and said, okay, they've tabled your issue for your approval to become the next executive chairman of the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. Now that was 11:30 p.m. And so I walked in, and the governor, Asiwaju, Babatunde, His Excellency, said, we've just tabled your matter and it's been approved that you're the next executive chairman of the Lagos State Board of Internal Revenue. And at the same time, instead of being a director, we put you at the level of permanent secretary, which will give you a free hand and autonomy, and you report directly to my office. Now, before then, the Board of Internal Revenue was under the Ministry of Finance, and they had undertaken a review and a study of all the activities, and he had said that, well, there was a lot of leakages. They were not getting in as much revenue, and the federal government, for certain reasons, did not release all the funds due to Lagos State. And during my meeting with His Excellency, he had said that he does need more revenue, and he knows that Lagos State has the potential to generate more revenue than is presently being generated. And so he said he did not want any bureaucracy to hinder his plans for revenue for Lagos State. And at that point, he also said that his dream for Lagos is to change the face of Lagos. And of course, in doing that, you need to improve your infrastructure. You need to provide social services and other amenities. And for all of that, you need money. A lot of people say that, well, Lagos was a state capital. It has all the banks and all the industries. But the question we should ask is that, how come a previous administrator or a previous governor never tapped into the revenue potential? He came, he saw it, he knew that we could stand financially on our own, and that's how it all started. But one thing I'd like to point out is that when we're talking about taxation or revenue generation, you have to have the political will. Asiwaju showed that he had the political will. Not on any occasion did he ever call me and say, this company, try and assist them. Maybe don't charge them what should be charged, or forgive them their interest and penalty. I know 1 or 2 occasions where people thought they were close to him. They actually told me this himself. They called the governor, and the governor said, the board is autonomous. You have to go and deal with the chairman. So basically, he was fair to everybody. He made sure that everybody paid their taxes. I believe that the blueprints that Asiwaju laid in Lagos in various sectors, including building the IGR base, where a number of governors did come to visit Lagos, regardless of their political parties or affiliations. And he was willing to open the door and let us teach them or show them what we did in Lagos State. And I think with what he has done in Lagos State, if that is transformed or transferred to Nigeria on a national scale, I think the full potential of Nigeria will be brought into reality. And that's my Asiwaju story.